Dates back to 1985, 86, when we first realized that we had some musical talent. Our father would play music, of course, play the guitar. Biggest influence in in our musical lives, but primarily in this case, in our musical life. We remember him playing guitar and playing his famous boleros from Trio Los Panchos and Los Tres Haces, and just playing beautifully and singing this melodious baritone tenor voice that he had. Perfect range for that style of music. And recording himself in an old tape deck from 1986. We're talking 20 years ago. And of course, us, my brother and myself, running around, like playing around, and we can hear ourselves in the background singing to the songs that he would play for us. But that was our first exposure to music. And of course, listening to records and recording ourselves once we realized, okay, we have the technology back in the 80s to record ourselves. We would record shows which dealt with musical acts which we ourselves performed, and wrote songs, and did so many artistic things that, looking back 20 years later, it's kind of like the roots, the beginning of a musical life, in a way.
I've been playing for a while. I started playing guitar when I was 13. My father had this old acoustic guitar, and he always played, and he was like, oh, why don't you learn? And I didn't really want to, but then I saw Elvis Presley on TV, and I was like, oh, I gotta be like Elvis. We're actually here at my job. We're like, oh, where are we? Oh, there's garbage. It's my job. I'm not a garbage man, though they really get good benefits, so maybe I should think of switching careers. Rock and roll garbage is almost the same. I started writing songs when I listened to the Beatles, the White Album from the Beatles. I really wanted to be like John Lennon at that point, and I wanted to write music, which is different than my brother in that Axel heard Queen, which is an awesome band, and he wanted to be like Freddie Mercury, except for not gay. Everybody asked me, oh, how come you and your brother don't play in the same band? And I think we both like running the show at the same time, and we can work together. Actually, when we harmonize, it sounds pretty nice, but he's got a different vision of what a band should be compared to what I have. It doesn't mean he's wrong or I'm wrong, it just means it's different.
Basically, my story is as follows. I was born in Scotland. I grew up in Ecuador and in Venezuela. I'm 25 years old. Vengo de una descendencia hispana pero profunda. Mi mamá es colombiana, mi papá es ecuatoriano, mi querido hermano es ecuatoriano también. Pertenezco a un grupo llamado Dumo, deletreado D-U-M-O. Básicamente hacemos música en español, hacemos música en inglés, mixto, lo que es Spanglish, lo que es ahora, what we call the next language or the new language. Basically, we just want to bring music out to people, make everybody feel happy, and conquer the world from there. Yo empecé con la batería, con lo que era percusión, luego entré al piano, luego a la guitarra. Primordialmente el hecho vocal, la noción vocal, la sustancia vocal, que siempre me interesó bastante. And now it brings me to this point, which is 20 years later, where I'm, suddenly saying, wow, I think I have some talent. I think I have some basic ability that you might like, And basically taking it from there, one step at a time, always one step at a time, never getting too ahead of myself.
If you listen to both my brothers and my band, we do have the same sort of like everything should be melodic and should be dramatic, but he has more of a... I don't like to say the word softer because it's not softer at all. I'm going to say tender. That's really not it, but I can't think of a word right now. And I like a little bit more rough, and definitely heavier. our sound somehow got separated. For some reason, he started liking other things and I started liking other things. I'm pretty much dramatic when it comes to writing music, and Axel's very melodic, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah.
La música es gratis, la música no es un delirio, pero es algo que te llena, es algo que te llena el día, te deja trabajar con más calma. Cuando no hay música, no hay nada. Seríamos esto, seríamos ropa solamente colgando en el cuerpo y eso es todo. Sin música no tenemos color.
Aquí estoy esperando que tú me contestes, pierdo el control cuando te toco a veces, me estoy volviendo loco por tu amor, ya no puedo tenerte, yeah, yeah. Me censura tus partes, ¿qué puedo hacer? Solo dime qué puedo hacer. Hola mi gente, este es Rebel junto a Raúl Cool. Estos son los nuevos integrantes del reggaetón. Ya tú sabes, venimos encendidos por ahí, haciendo melaza para la gente. Ya tú sabes, tratando de competir en los estilos nuevos que se están brindando. Y vamos a seguir para adelante, ya tú sabes. Un saludito a toda esa mi gente. Washington High, La Calle, Elvis. Ya tú sabes que vamos para adelante.
Mi gente, mi nombre es Raúl. Muchos saludos a mi gente dominicana. Estamos aquí haciendo un dúo con Rebel, tratando de hacer algo positivo y esperando que sea el gusto del público y tirando para adelante, mi gente.
Cuando te toco a veces, me estoy volviendo loco por tu amor, ya no puedo tenerte, yeah, yeah. Me censura tus partes, ¿qué puedo hacer? Solo dime qué puedo hacer.
Porque me encuentro en depresión porque tú no estás, quiero tenerte a mi lado y de mi lado te debes. Y yo sufriendo, y yo pensando, si yo volvería a verte, dime cuándo, para devorarte, quiero besarte, tu cuerpo tocarte, lúcete mamita que tu cuerpo te verde, esa tu tajada y brilla como diamante.
New York City, como dicen, 8 millones de historias tiene la ciudad de Nueva York. New York is an open canvas for all sorts of musical talent. And I'm aware of it. I work in a recording studio up in Spanish Harlem. But you wouldn't see a cat like myself walking around in a place like Harlem. You know, you wouldn't see a cat like myself walking in Harlem appreciating merengue, appreciating bachata, appreciating salsa, appreciating reggaeton, you know. Not my choices of musical influences to write, but I appreciate it with the ear. Why? Because I'm in the city, I'm in New York, I'm in the Mecca, not just of fashion, but of music. So you better come down.